Hi, in this video I'm going to continue my computer store lecture. I'm going to demonstrate how to take an order that we place on the website and store it in a list in memory. This list, of course, is not permanent. We will eventually write these things to a database, but for now, I want to be able to hold on to this order in a list. I'll create a new page, I'll create a new model to hold this data, and of course I'll create a menu entry that takes me there. Okay, so we currently have our project and we have an order item and we have the validation rules set up. I'm going to add a list to hold on my orders. I'm going to add this to a model. So I'm going to add a new class. I don't really have to do this in a new class. I just kind of like to keep things separate. I'm going to call this all orders. And in public class all orders, I'm going to create a list. Okay, so this should allow me to hold on to my list. Oh, and I put it in the wrong place. That's why it's yelling at me. We need to put this in my class. Now it's happy. All right, so to hold on to my list, I need a constructor, and I need to make this enumerable so I can handle the list. So let's build a constructor. I'm sorry, I'm not going to build a constructor. I need an add class. I'm sorry. So it's going to add to my list. New order is going to be generated on my page. I'm going to add this order in the current controller for the post. I'm going to have a get function. I'm using my own list and add rather than getters and setters, so the code is a little cleaner to read. Boy, I cannot type today. Alright, so it's static because if more than one person comes to my website, I'll keep this in the same, I'll keep all the orders in the same list. This adds to it, and this will return the list. Alright, let's create my new view, and this view is going to grow as we move forward. So I'm going to add it in home because everything else is in home. Add a new view. I'm going to call this show orders. And once that finishes chugging, I'm going to write the controller. And I'm going to put a menu entry in layouts. So I'll go to home, controller, and I'll add it. And I'm going to pass into this view the all orders. So this is my list of orders, and I'll pass that in. List orders, of course, is what's returned the items back. So I'm passing in the function that has the list. Okay, I'll go to my layouts, create a link to it. I don't know that you necessarily want this link on this page, but it simplifies the example. Before I go forward, I'm going to run this, make sure this works. Nothing's more embarrassing than writing 100 lines of code and a link failing. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of cold today. So order was placed, we're good to go. Alright, so let's now write some code. I'm going to go to show orders. I'm going to add a model at the top. IEnumerable means I can walk through it. And it really helped me. So this will allow me to walk through this using an order item. An order item was from a previous video, but it's just what you think it is. It's a line item on the order with the standard stuff for a computer. Okay, I'm going to have a table in here. Now bootstrap it, because we have Bootstrap. It is really helping me today, more than it should. I turned off most of the IntelliAssist. Excuse me. So I'm going to build the table. There are some really cool helpers in Visual Studio that might make this faster. You can look those up. I'll pick them in another video. And then after this, I'm going to have another TR, but the TR is going to be generated by everything that's in my list. So I'm going to for each it. A lot of the code online, you'll see it says var there, and that's perfectly fine to use just var, but it's not typed, and you won't get the nice drop downs if you don't use the class there. So you see, I get the drop, so I don't have to type as much. If I just varred that, I have to type email, and it would yell at me for every line. Does not behoove me to type fast today. Alright, so basic page. If you've been programming for a while, you understand how this logic works. The model will be that's passed in will be a list. It's going to walk through everything in the list, and it's going to display one order item at a time. I use the table striped from Bootstrap, so I'll get alternating shaded, not shaded rows, just because that looks nice online. It's just easy to read. So now I need to store the order of the list. I'm going to do that in my current post for order form. So I'm going to go back to my controller. And here's my current post for order form. I'm going to add it right here before I do my thanks. The order is what's passed into this controller when I do a post. The order is generated whenever I enter the information on the website. I validate it using the validators that we put in the last video in the class. I add it to the list, and then I return the thanks. Oh, let's see what we got. I run it. Alright, so let's build a computer. Let's build a kiddie machine. An i3 with 4 gigs of RAM that runs at 1 megahertz, or gigahertz, excuse me. Maybe 2 terabytes of space. Value is greater than 2, so I'll do 2. Between 8 and 32. Validators are great, aren't they? Awesome. I go to all orders. There it is. Let's build another one. Let's build a massive one. Let's go to 4. 4. Bill's ordering his new computer to play Minecraft on. There it is. Go to all orders. Bam. There they are. Clearly, this is just a memory. I would have to write this to a file, write this to a database, preferably to hang on to these, but the logic is sound. You would do this writing in your controller in the post. As you go forward in this, you're going to learn how to work with Entity Framework, which is going to make this writing into the database really easy. Entity Framework will build a lot of this CRUD stuff for you. CRUD is create, read, update, and delete. And you'll just simply have to understand how it works. By working through it now, using a list, when you get to the complicated database connections, you'll understand where stuff needs to go. All right, so that's everything I wanted to cover. Thanks for listening. Good luck.